Okay, I'm back. This is part 2. I froze on the last one, so I went ahead and started it over, and I will wait for a few of you to join me. And I will update on the list. Hi, Andy. Okay, great. Let me update the list real quick. Hi, Lexi. Okay. Hopefully that won't freeze again. I forgot Clarinda's sister's name, so I'm going to have to put her in. Who else is here? Devry, are you here? All right, well, whoever's here. Andy, if you want to ask your question, since if you're not, you have to tell me if you're here or not, because otherwise I don't know. I've got 5 people in the room, but I don't know who you are. So if you're one of the people on the list, why don't you just jump in and ask your question? Oh, there you are. Okay, Lucille, why don't you ask your question? You were Clarinda, right? Because I can't go back to the other chat. Okay. General reading. It's been a couple of years. Okay. No worries. Don't apologize. It's okay. Okay. So I'll work with Andy while we're waiting. Everything happens for a reason. Just stress that. I don't know. Someone just joined, if it's Devry or Lisa. I can see you, Devry, now. Go ahead and ask your question. Hi, Lisa. Yeah, I do. I do still see something coming in. I don't know if you'll start work, but I feel like something will come in. And again, it feels kind of like this is a stepping stone. I don't feel like this is like, oh, my job forever and I want to stay at this place forever. It just feels like a good stepping stone. So something I thought about because I was thinking about how I manifested my daughter's friend calling me saying I was born. And I actually found it really humorous just because, but it just feels like maybe it's even doing kind of what I talked to Rothka about, where it's like just being really honest about what your thoughts are around it, and like really like instead of being afraid to be like, oh, it's like I'm all of these terrible things or all of these horrible things. It's like because you can't really combat the subconscious if you're not willing to really look at it. And the truth is, our brain just tells us all kinds of stupid crap all the time. So it doesn't. it's kind of the idea of like, yeah, I think you can still sign up, purchase a reading. Um, I keep getting like literally right at the end of the month. Like I don't feel like it's this week. It feels like right at the end of the month, just sliding in. And again, it doesn't feel like it's like the dream job. It just feels like something a little outside of the box, but that'll get you moving a little bit more. I know you're frustrated with hearing that. Lucille, I feel like it takes about a month, and they're like, literally all the person has to do is like click, but it's just, I don't know if they're a curmudgeon or what. They're just, you're welcome, Devery. So Lucille, for as far as, so she's wondering about when they're gonna fix the map for the sewer, and it has to be done by the state. It feels like it takes about a month. So, and I don't know if that feels like they said when you file the paperwork it takes that long. It's like, no, it really will. And it feels like it's literally like if you were sitting next to this person watching them, it's literally like click, click. Like it's not it's not that hard. You're very welcome. And then Lisa and Andy, I still have you here. Yeah, about a month from today. Now, I can be wrong about things. It might be like sway a few days here or there, but I feel like it's about a month. I don't feel like it's too much further out than that. Hi, Rose. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you're doing well. Okay, Lisa. Hi, Kayanat. The list is there's let me see, did I pin this one? I didn't pin it yet. So these are $12 readings, $12 per question, and 30% gets donated to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. If you want to follow me over on TikTok, I keep saying I'm going to start, but then I didn't expect to have so many home repairs that I was going to be stuck at. I can't do readings while there's somebody's like banging around, or I'm having to like run back and forth closing garage doors and stuff. So I'm hoping to do some readings this week over on TikTok, do some lives over there. So those are free, but I don't guarantee that I pick you. I just, Ashley's gotten some free readings over there. You're welcome. So it's still open if you want. Sorry, Lisa, should I leave my current job at a school and look for a different school? I love it so much, but I'm scared to get hurt again. Okay, I'll look for it. Infinity is one. I don't know why I was going to say it is. I don't know, whatever. Okay. Hang on, Lisa. And long time no see, by the way, lady. Okay. So I'm asking it this way. If she leaves, what will happen? And if she stays, what will happen? So I feels like if you leave and you go to another school, it feels like that school is less, I don't know if you're still doing gymnastic stuff, so I'm just saying this, but it feels like that the school you would move to would be like smaller kids, less difficult stunts. But I also feel like a little more exhausted because I feel like it's more I get a little bit more, they're needing me to do more classes and more things, or they're putting more and more on me. And also then just the wrangling of the age group. Daisy actually asked if we could get together soon for them to play. She's like, I miss them. Um, so it feels like if you leave, the next job you find feels like it's like with younger kids. And so you're not likely to get injured, but just feels like also more exhausted. You have nice coworkers and stuff, but it's not as fun. Um, and I was asking, like, would you get an assistant or something to help you out with stunts or something like that where you're at now? And I feel like they can't financially afford that. Well, they can, because they get paid plenty, but they're short-sighted. So they're short-sighted in the idea of like paying up front for somebody to be there to help with the work that you need versus looking at if she gets injured, what are we going to have in lawsuits? Like they're just like looking at the upfront cost. Wait, are you at you're at an autistic school? Oh my God. Yeah, I feel like you'll work with younger kids. I feel like they could afford to pay for an assistant for you, and it's not. Um, I think a big part of the problem with uh, the way autism is viewed still in the mainstream, especially like in schools, is not really understanding like the United States, because they are like, well, it's not in the DSM-5, so it's not real. But in Europe, they recognize PDA, which is pathological demand avoidance, or someone says persistent demand for autonomy. So it's like needing to feel like they made the decision, they made the choice, that they're equals, they're not below anybody. And so they're already always in fight or flight mode. And so it's like anything can really set them to where they're like, they can't handle anything. They either shut down or they go into like fight. Um, and it's interesting because I feel like the age range you're at is not quite old enough. Um, to develop some maturity. The other thing I think people automatically think autism is intellectual delays, when a lot of like ADHD, autism stuff, it's really like an emotional social delay. They're nonverbal, like biting, punching, throwing. Um, so it feels like it's different when if you move to a new school, it feels like a younger group, so different kind of exhausting. And I do feel like they'll put a little bit more responsibilities on you, but I feel like you'll be able to handle it. So exhausting in a different way. I see one boy in particular. Um, I think he would prefer irritates his eardrum, and he just needs a little bit more because he can feel all your energy too. They're showing me like a really fair skinned boy with like lighter blonde, dusty blonde hair. So when you talk, okay, so I have to stop and go back. I feel like you don't have to necessarily leave there. I feel like you're going to start learning a better way to deal with them, and it will bring the energy level down a little bit. But it's like you have to talk kind of quiet to him, but it can't be near his ear. So it's like what you think would be like, well, obviously I would like whisper in his ear. It's like, like it's too much for him. And I have to tell you, I feel like he might shove your hand away a little bit, but I also feel like it's not that his parents don't mean well, but I do feel like they're not really good at reading his cues and honoring his boundaries. Because just because they can't get it out here doesn't mean that it's not here. He's the one who attacked you. Yeah. So he might not, his needs might not fully be getting met at home because I feel like his parents infantilize him and don't recognize that there's a lot of thought going on here just because I can't get it out here. And I feel like acknowledging to him, like, I see you're upset. Please don't hit me because it hurts when you hit me. Like just explaining it all. So even with his parents are going through a divorce. Okay. Say I'm here, you know. I feel like giving him a little bit of space will bring him into you and he'll say like just like when you're ready, you can come to me. Because I don't feel like he's physically delayed. Like maybe some fine motor skill stuff, but I feel like he can walk around, and he feels comfortable with that. And it also feels like they're saying, don't get on top of him needing to sit down. Or it's like if he needs to just stand and rock or something, like let him do that because it helps him center himself. Oh. You and I will talk offline. I think maybe some stuff I have to share with you about, I just don't want to share with the whole world about my daughter. And you know her, and just some things that I've discovered. Just some things I've discovered about working, like learning to work with her rather than like worrying about like, and I know you're in a school, but it's like sometimes you have to do things in an unorthodox way to get them to their calm state in order, and meaning like people are like, oh, you just make them do it. And it's like, well, no, you don't. You go, okay, you take your time. And when you're ready, like, okay. So we can talk offline. I honestly don't know that you'll leave, but if you leave, I feel like I see with even littler kids, not even necessarily on LED, like it might even be maybe even through the preschool, through the district or something like that. I see little bitties. Hang on. Lindita, these are paid readings. There's a pinned at the top is the PayPal. You can click on that and pay, and it's $12 a question, and I donate 30% to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Every dollar provides 3 meals, and food scarcity is real, and we live in a greedy corporate society, and we all have to pay our bills. So you're welcome, Lisa. You can text me or call me. Okay. So Andy wrote, let me go up to Andy. I just wanted a general reading. It's been a couple of years. Okay. Andy, are you still? Perfect. Okay, Andy wants a general rating. Do you have a sore throat right now? And I ask that because, like, I do feel tight in my solar plexus or my root sacral. Yeah, solar plexus, sacral. Just kind of tight right here, energetically speaking. And I feel a little bit of like tight jaw. My throat fell off. It's somewhere in the area of the third or fourth tooth from the back. If you have a wisdom tooth, it's going to be your fourth or fifth. If you don't have wisdom teeth, because I don't have any, that's where it feels like it's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if you have some kind of little viral infection going on, because I also feel a little pressure in my ears and like kind of tight in my some of the lymph gland areas here. Man. Can you hear me now? Here, wait, I'm going to mute and unmute. Does that work? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Ooh. Sorry. Now you can. Okay. Phew. Okay. I don't know what that was about. Okay. So what I was saying was, Andy, I started with saying, do you have a sore throat right now? And the reason why I ask is I feel just the way I feel in my throat, but I also felt like an awareness of my, if you have wisdom teeth, it's going to be your fourth or fifth. This is my top right from the back. If you don't have wisdom teeth, it's going to be your third or fourth. I'm not 100% sure. Sometimes teeth is like, it gives me a right on one. Sometimes it doesn't. But I also felt like a lot of pressure in my ears and then a pressure here, like kind of, there's like a lot of lymph glands there. This is all on my right side. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're fighting off something viral. I also, this is not your general reading. I just want to know that I'm connecting with your energy. I also feel really tight in my stomach and solar plexus chakra. This feels more like having anxiety, feeling frozen, and kind of stuck. Did you hear any of that? You have a cracked tooth and I've been sick on the stomach due to stress. Okay. Get that checked, because if I'm feeling pressure in my ears, it could be that there's an infection going. So please get that checked, that there's not some kind of thing going on with that. Is it in the upper right? Get it checked. I'm not saying this, but I'm saying this. Watch in the next couple of days, within a week, because I think there's something brewing. Because I feel a sore throat and even pressure back here. So, start making sure you're getting enough fluids, vitamin C, sleep, just to stave off anything. But go get that checked out, because that could be creating a little infection up there. So I'm like, what does she need to know? And they're like, well, and have you ever watched that movie Labyrinth? And there's like all those like deep voices of, I can't remember if they're trees or if they're the door knockers. But or maybe it's the hands when she catches her through the thing. I think it's like, did you say up? I think it's the hands. So it just feels like they're like, well, if she would just take care of herself, because it's this feeling of like, wanting these wonderful things to come in. So it's this idea that like, you're like, well, I'm trying to be better about my thoughts, which I really believe you are. But wanting more to come in and then refusing to take care of yourself in the moment is like, how can you make room for more if you're not in any condition to receive more? And by that, I mean, like the future you, the you that you're trying to grow into would be the person that goes to the dentist and takes care of it. So it's like, it feels like needing to do that. On sidebar, if it's an issue with money, because we know dental work in the United States is like stupid, ridiculously expensive. And also, go to a dental school near you for the work, because they will charge you much less for it, and you will get just as good, if not better, care, because you're going to have the latest equipment, and they don't work alone. Like they're not the person teaching is very knowledgeable and skilled. So you said lower. There's something on the upper if I'm feeling the pressure up there. And I also feel tight in my jaw here. You're just stubborn. Well, stop being stubborn. So it feels just kind of like this sort of idea of like, if I want this to come in, I also need to learn to like just be kind to myself in the moment, do the things that I need to do to take care of myself in the moment. Because what happens is it's this like underlying belief system of like, I can't have this, and this. But then going, but I want more. And you're like sort of stopping it on this end, but expecting the universe to bring it in here. And they're like, it doesn't work that way. So like when they're just saying like, we're ready to give these things to you. And I feel like honestly, this is like a career level up. I don't feel so much around, by level up, I feel like more money coming in, and a title, not title. I just feel like I don't feel like love is the focus right now. That feels exhausting to me for you. Oh. So sort of what they're saying is like, yes, more is out there and the opportunity is there, but like that person that you're stepping into needs to be X, Y, and Z first. And I don't know that you're so stubborn. It feels more like there's again, putting your self-care off. It sort of feels like around like, well, I can't do this because of X, Y, and Z. When really it's like, well, you could, but you were taught to put that off and not make that a priority for yourself growing up. I scare you. Well, I'm authentically real. um, They're saying she's gonna be okay. It's also this idea that a lot of the stress that you're carrying is sort of like this hamster wheel loop that you create in your head. Um, I too am guilty of it where like I sort of just had to change my idea of like, so it's stupid, stuck kind of black and white thinking, and probably because I'm autistic myself, um, self-diagnosed, but looking and learning about my daughter and then like looking at my patterns of behavior and everything else. So it becomes like a like, oh, you can only run the dishwasher when it's full. And like when you learn to go like, no, no, I'm gonna give myself permission to not have to follow that rule. And it sounds dumb, like why of course you don't have to do that. But it's like because then what happens is if I run it when it's really full, well, maybe, and I get inspired, like, oh, well, what if I'm really busy and I don't have time to unload it? Then it's like it's this like hamster wheel, right? Or of like, oh, it's going to take so long, or something seems so insurmountable, but then when you actually do it, it takes 15 minutes as an ADHD brain. But it's this stuff in here gets us stuck sometimes. So they're showing me like a hamster wheel, like you're a little stuck in here of all these things you have to do, or all this way you're supposed to be, and you're fine. They're sort of like saying like give yourself a break a little bit, meaning like, so even if you're not doing things because you have this whole list of things and you're like, I'm just going to rest, you're unable to really rest because even though you're laying there doing nothing, your brain isn't shutting off. And they're like, give yourself permission. You're not, this is not um, a decider of somebody's, being a better person than another because you need a little bit more time. I was known as Jazz Hands. Last time you read for me, it was dead on. Thank you for helping me to redirect my mind. I'm hard on myself. I remember Jazz Hands. Jazz Hands. I don't remember. I remember the name. I don't remember reading for you last time. Welcome back. I often wonder when someone's here a lot and then they don't show up. I'm like, maybe they just grew out of me. Like, like you kind of move beyond certain readers sometimes. I don't know. You'll get there. It just feels like, a lot of times we just all get stuck a little bit. But then they feel like, but that's like where you sort of have to make the decision to step forward and be gentler with yourself and, forgiving of imperfections. Because you, again, nobody would ever speak to their friends or loved ones the way we speak to ourselves. I mean, some people do, right? We've all had some of those family members, but for the most part. Okay. So Starry Sky, are you still here? Oh, look at those numbers. Hi. I was literally thinking about you yesterday. We've just finished. Congratulations. Did you get to ring a bell when you did that? So this is going to sound dumb. I just thought of this right now. Look into drinking soursop tea. It is actually used in other countries. I don't know if it's in Japan or China it's as a cancer treatment. So I'm not saying like this is all you should drink, but it's like it just feels like have a cup of soursop tea every day. You can buy the leaves, you steep the leaves. It's a very mild tea. It's better than green tea. Like it's a very mild, like caffeine-free tea. And it feels like that. But I don't know that that's like, here's your reading from your guides. I just thought of that and wanted to tell you that. Okay. I want to reread this. So They say, be as kind and gentle to yourself as you are with others. Um, take this as an opportunity to um, look at life as an adventure rather than a pressing journey of all of the have tos that you have around you. Stop feeling obligated to rescue others, because in rescuing others, you are drowning yourself. Um, I love you. I'm going to say this to you. um, you are not helping them by not allowing them to make their own mistakes and fall. You're harming them by doing that. Um, it is through our mistakes that we learn, that we grow, and we gain wisdom. They're saying this is not cruel to do this. We do this all the time. Boy, do they. They said, you're not a bad person for doing this. It's just that the intention doesn't meet the desired outcome or the desired goal, or the action doesn't meet the desired intention. I guess that's what I should say, to make it make more sense. I just heard this. I don't know what it means. He's happy and he's proud of you. So if you just asked about some male, that's just what I heard. I don't know if they did a total mastectomy or lumpectomy or whatever, but I feel like something's bigger on my right and smaller on my left. But I see sutures, like, I don't know. Did one of the sutures or something not dissolve all the way on the left? They go, it'll feel really good to get the port out. Because I feel like the port's really irritating you right now. You have a port on your left? I think that's where they normally put it, but it just feels like stretched and just feels irritated, and it'll feel really good to get out. They also said putting your feet up a little bit more. You're, really genuinely just learning to enjoy others doing for you a little bit, and without needing to be sick to receive that. They're like, you deserve to be helped and doted on and loved without needing a reason, right? The only way you allow somebody to do that for you in the past, right? Because we're moving forward away from that, was if you were really sick. Because then that would mean you were deserving of it. And they're like, no. You're gonna accept the foot massages. You're gonna accept somebody bringing you a cup of coffee or tea. You're gonna accept being doted on and not feeling as if you're lazy or a failure or any of those things. Lazy is a construct. That is, a way to try and keep people constantly moving and working, making them feel guilty if they need a rest. I did a total double mastectomy. I have lumps on my right side. Okay. Yes. Port on, really irritating me. Okay. It's on the right. I cannot wait to get it out. I just felt like there's something about sutures on the left. And they're saying, you're very good about making jokes to make light of things, but and I don't know if if you're in therapy or something like that, it's like make sure you take some time to really just, you know, honor everything that you've been through, um, grieve it and release it. Um, and if you're in, therapy or a therapy group, it might even be good to have like be a part of a breast cancer survivors group or something where it doesn't mean you go there and you just complain all the time, but it feels like you need a place to put your energy and get it out of you of like honoring the grief and the loss. Because it's not even just about the breasts itself, it's about this idea of like being extremely vulnerable as a human, when you go through something like that, you're, realizing that like your life is fragile and, it's scary. Are y'all getting a little dog? Might be like a poodle mix. I just see a little dog around you. You have a spot on the left that is painful. Okay. Just mention it because it feels like I just keep seeing a suture and I keep seeing like almost like spider legs, like sutures just like all frayed and all over the place. Like it wasn't as neat as maybe it could have been. Do you know if a third-year resident did that? I heard a third year, and that means third-year resident to me. Wait, you have a little dog? We lost our beloved Chihuahua and should get a. You were going to ask if you should. Oh, okay. Then I see a little dog coming. It's funny because I saw Chihuahua's face, but then was your Chihuahua light colored? Because I saw light colored like the face of one, but then I saw this other little dog, like a poodle mix, and it's another small dog. So the answer is yes. Oh, and maybe that's who he is. He's okay. I think that's the he. Aww. Y'all, animals are amazing. They really are. They're like, I love animals. Anyway, they don't go to a separate place, right? Oh, well, he's okay. Did he make kind of like piggy noises? Because I just heard like it reminds me of the sound my dog made when she was would like clean herself. Like, so I think the last one I have is Infinity is one. I hope, is that enough? Is that good for you, Starry Sky? I missed you. So I'm glad you're doing better. Rose, I missed you too. I miss all of you. I love when you show up and you surprise me. It's the kind of house guest I don't mind on a surprise. I am not the person that I don't like people just showing up at my house and being like, "I'm here. Can you wanna hang out?" No. No, I don't. You're very welcome. I don't like surprise parties. I'll go to somebody's surprise party. I don't want to have a surprise party. Like, I like to know what I'm headed for. And I know you'd be like, "Oh, you're psychic." Could you know? No, because all I feel like if someone's trying to surprise me, all I feel like is they're hiding something, and that should be concerning. So, no, I don't. Okay. Um, Infinity, are you still here? And I'm super, super glad and congratulations on being done with chemo. Um, okay, what's your question? Can you just tell me what Elle's full name is? Not the last name. I don't care about the last name, just the first name. We can always delete it after you put it in. I won't say it out loud. It's just for me to connect with. Okay. I won't say it out loud. Do you want to delete it? Because mine gets hidden behind these little hearts here. I can't. Can you delete it? Hang on. It just because. Okay. Oh, now I can. Hey. Oh, no, I can't. Stupid hearts. I don't even understand these hearts that are here. Okay, let's delete it. Then you don't have to worry about anybody watching this bad. Okay. So when I was waiting for you, I heard, yeah, he does. He's a little bit of a pain. And then literally when he came up, it showed me like the image of a horse's ASS. um they showed me a dinosaur because I was like, what's his problem? And I saw a dinosaur. And that to me just means somebody who has this old belief system is not quite stepped into connecting with his emotions very well and learning how and like knowing how to express them very well. I don't feel like he's the best communicator. Um, in many aspects, I feel like he expects you to just read his mind. So traditional can come with also a heap of not so great things, right? So, maybe you like the male female roles, but I also feel like there's non-communication on his part, on an inability to express emotions, inability to honor emotions. Because if he doesn't know how to process his own, it's really hard for him to be able to process and honor somebody else's. Um, they're like, well, you are, he's not. Meaning, I do believe you pick up on his stuff. I don't believe he's really consciously aware of what he's doing on his end. Um, I won't say so. I'm not the type of person who wants to give a reading and goes, you should be with him because he's not perfect. Like, according to what? Like, right? Um, I mean, nobody is. What I can see is the challenge in this relation. So I do feel like he cares for you. I do feel like he's attracted to you. the challenge moving forward will be, it won't be a financial issue for the two of you. I don't feel like money, I don't feel like you'll ever fight about money. I feel like the challenge will be around communication and emotional, his inability to be emotionally connected, right? So I feel like you're still really early on. I just don't know, like, long term. Um, Whether he will be able to maintain that. And the guys are like, you manifest more than you realize. So when you're like, oh, I feel like we're psychically connected. So say it's like, oh, I was thinking about it'd be so nice to go to this place for dinner. And then he's like, hey, we should go to this place for dinner. You're like, oh my God, I was thinking that too, right? This is just a little example. It's really kind of like you throw that out there in the ethers and the universe goes, okay, we'll make that happen. But he's like nowhere near understanding that or actually being psychically connected. He wants a long-term relationship, but I don't know if no, I do believe he wants a long-term relationship. I do believe that he likes you. I also believe from what I'm being shown is he's just when we say traditional on my end, um I feel like maybe overly romanticized on your end. So the way they're making me feel like is just don't be in a rush for it to be any certain space or a goal, like to get married and have kids, but rather take it day by day. And as you do, make sure you assert your own opinion. Make sure you bring up stuff, like make sure you have a fight. Um, I mean, don't pick a fight, but I'm saying like don't also not uh, assert yourself in fear of, oh my God, he won't like me if I don't. Because the truth is, if you want a long term relationship with you, that's not a way to live long term. And if he doesn't like you because you assert your opinion, that's not somebody who you want to partner up with because marriage is like it is a partnership. It is not all love and wonderful perfectness all the time. And if you don't choose to be with somebody who is willing to sit down and hash it out with you, like that's not a life worth living. It's hard. I think, people don't talk about that enough. It's not that it's like, oh, this is a business arrangement, but if you think about how you run a business, would you open a business with somebody like, and you would be like, oh, I don't know. I don't want him to not like me. I don't want him to like, if I say that I think that that's not the way to go with that, or like, I'd really like to do, put up shelves here or whatever. But if I say that it might offend him and I don't want him to not like me. It's like, if your business tanks and you didn't do that, like, I don't know. You can't run a business with somebody that you're not willing to assert yourself and share your opinions and ideas and all of that. I don't think he knows what he wants from the connection. Like, I don't think he's like, I think he's much more simple than you give him credit for. um, my feeling is that he's attracted to you and he's enjoys spending time with you. And he doesn't think about it much beyond that. Like he doesn't go like, okay, and let me plan it. I don't think he's quite at that stage yet. But I do feel like he has considered you as a long-term person. But I think you overthink it way more than he does. Like he's way more simpler than that. It's like it goes beyond. It's like he's like, yeah, I like hanging out with her. This is nice. I could see this hanging out again for a longer. I could see that. Like it's very um it feels like it'll just take a very natural step. Like if he asked you to marry him, because I'm not strong on that. Wouldn't be surprised if he does. Um, but I also feel like it's really important for you to he's just not, I don't know how to explain it. I need to explain it because I need to Yeah, he's not. It's not to say that all guys are this way, because I have plenty of men who I've read for who are, very interested in when are they going to get married and all of that stuff. Um, I don't think he's in that urgency stage yet. You're good enough, but I want you to do yourself a favor. Don't let him set the standard of whether or not you are good enough. Because in reality, is like, who the F are they? Like, really? Is he good enough? Is what you really need to look at. It's like, of course I'm good enough. Of course I'm valuable. Of course I'm worthy. Start listening to, I'm really big on this, affirmations and around self-concept. That is the way that you manifest and bring things in. He wouldn't, I'm going to say this, he wouldn't talk about it with you if he wasn't interested. So, like, guys won't. I grew up with guys as friends, which also really twisted my idea about relationships and how to behave in a relationship for a long time. But, or views of things, whatever. Anyway, yeah, they don't talk about it unless they're interested. It's like, that's it. But also, like, if that's your goal, great, but then make sure he's good enough to be married to instead of the other way around. Make sure he's the quality that you want to be saddled with, because they always put their best foot forward in the beginning and then they settle into their character, right? Everybody's always showing off their personality and put their best foot forward, and then their character shows up. The character is not always as good as their personality. He's not talking to you right now, so he will. So work on I want you to forget about whether he's going to reach out or not. I want you to really look at, and I know a lot of people don't mix readings and affirmations and manifestation, but I know that it's really important to have a great self-concept, not because you're not lovable if you don't have it. You're lovable no matter what. Not because you can't get in a relationship if you don't have a good self-concept, but when you have a good self-concept and you love yourself, meaning speaking kindly to yourself, meaning owning, like, yeah, that was like weird looking. Sorry about that. Meaning owning the fact that, like, yeah, I am good enough. Yeah, I am marriage material. I am chosen. Of course he wants to be with me. Who wouldn't want to be with me? I'm a great person. I'm a great catch. I'm beautiful. I'm smart. I'm funny. I'm like all those things that you can say, right? I'm valuable. I'm worthy. I'm enough. Start talking to yourself that way, because if one of your friends was talking that way, would you be like, are you crazy? He'd be stupid not to want you. Like, so speak to yourself that way. Change that, because when you have a really good self-concept, you're able to look and see the BS and any kind of manipulation or emotional manipulation, whatever, are coming at you. And B, you just expect better and you don't tolerate baloney. You already made up your mind that we're like soulmates and destined or something, but I guess he doesn't feel the same way. So if you go along with, don't worry about if he misses you. Look, you can make up any story in your head. You can decide what you want to decide with any story you want, right? You can go, oh, well, oh, it's probably because, and you can go down the completely negative route. And the fact of the matter is, you don't know if that's true or not. Why not just decide, of course I am. We're soulmates. And of course he wants to be with me. I don't care what the 3D says right now. And just, I'm not saying stalk him or anything, but he'll come around. Practice it. But start working on self-concept, that I am chosen, I am enough, I am a good person. Every morning when you wake up, look in the mirror, go to the bathroom, look in the mirror, and say uplifting, positive things to yourself. Don't look at your phone. Don't do anything else. Go to the bathroom. Take 10 deep breaths. Brush your teeth with your left hand if you want, and say good things to yourself. That's a way to also train your neurological system. Okay. The other thing is, but I'm like, I spent a lot of time going, does he like me? Am I enough? Am I not to for like every fucking guy I dated? And I can't tell you how many hours I wasted on losers, people who didn't deserve a second look from me. And not because, oh, I'm so much better, but because they weren't treating me well. And I would have told my friends, what a loser. Like, you deserve better. And not because like you're so, but because nobody deserves to be treated the way some people treat others. It is not arrogant or egotistical to speak kindly to yourself. But if you get into a relationship with under the guise of like under that weight of not feeling good enough, you end up pulling an unhealthy relationship. It doesn't mean that you won't learn. It doesn't mean you won't grow through it. But it's a lot easier to do that self-concept work when you're not in a relationship. So then look at, why do you want someone who doesn't have time, who's not giving you their time? You could, like, if you go to manifesting people who talk about like, we create our own reality, you can have whoever you want. But really and truly, in this very now moment, the way he's showing up, why do you want someone who's not showing you that you're valuable and worthy and worth their time? Is it because that reminds you of you were always treated that way? I mean, I'm not a therapist. I've done a lot of work. And it's my experience of like, when I look at stuff, I don't look at it like it's a mystery. I'm like, why would I want this behavior? What might cause me to want that behavior? Because I bet in some way or another, people didn't show up for you when you were little. And listen to me when I say this to you, I'm not doing it to be like, because I've been there. And I'm not judging you. Again, I've been there. I spent way too many hours worrying about men who were not the kindest, not respectful. But yeah, maybe some amount of childhood neglect or something. Here's the thing, it doesn't even have to be full on neglect. It can be enough of like, oh, I'm really busy, I'm working, I'll deal with this later, and like not giving you the attention that you need. A parent doesn't have to be a terrible person to have like traumatic things happen through that, right? You don't have to be like it can create something within our subconscious of like, oh, I'm not worth the time right now, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be like full on abandonment and all of that, or alcoholism or anything like that. I do see like a 6-month glow up for you. And I also see, I'm going to tell you exactly what I see because I'm not sure if this is relationship or what this it's. Um, you know how in a concert, like something will come up from the stage and then like kind of open up and morph into something else, and then the person steps out. Um, I keep like thinking of like the Taylor Swift. I don't know why it's reminding me of that. So I'm like, I don't know if that means that the person works as like a roadie, or if it's metaphorical and somebody is going to come out, it's going to appear to be one thing, kind of come out of nowhere and appear to be one thing and then step out and be something completely different. I honestly don't know exactly how to hit that one on the head, like be like, oh, that's what it is, but that's what I'm being shown. And I'm not going to try and give it meaning when I don't know what the meaning is, because I can't. So, and I'm going to give you examples of where that's happened and how it sort of unfolded for a couple of other people. So I have a friend who I read for her. She was doing a whole bunch of consulting. She did corporate marketing, and she's like, well, what's my next gig? And I'm like, I don't know. I literally saw her walking up and down the aisles of a preschool classroom. And I was like, are you thinking about this? Because I keep seeing like a preschool classroom. It's like, and she's like, no way. Like, no. And she would have taken a huge pay cut. Like, it would have just been the biggest joke. So I'm like, I don't know what it means then. Well, she ended up doing the marketing for like a Montessori school. So I didn't know how to put it. And I said, that's just what I keep seeing. So I don't know. Like, I didn't know how to place it. So I'm just seeing that. I don't know what it means. And I know a lot of people will try and put, I don't do that, because I don't always interpret things right, but I can tell you exactly what I'm seeing. And the glow up for you really feels about like really fully embracing yourself and just being like, yeah, I am this badass. Why would I? Like, it's not a physical transformation. It feels more about like really falling in love with yourself. And again, that's not egotistical. It's not arrogant. It's not selfish. It's about learning to set boundaries and healthy boundaries, not so you can control other people to do what you want, but so that you understand where your limits are of like, yeah, I just don't feel like tolerating this more. Doesn't mean that person's a terrible person. It doesn't make me a terrible person. It just means that they're not capable of meeting me where I'm at. And that's okay. But I don't know if this transformation is about you, is it's connected to whoever this person is. And I don't have a timing on it because I just asked. Who knows? For all I know, you'll be like, oh, I went to the Taylor Swift concert. Like, and it was her security guard, whatever. Last time I saw him was really awkward. We were with mutual friends and he wasn't sure if he went. Wait, and you weren't sure. Stop worrying. Just, again, you don't know the story. So don't automatically be like, oh, like, just be like, yeah, of course he came to see me. Who cares? Who cares what's in here? You're not hurting anybody. You're only hurting yourself when you're like, oh, it's probably not good enough. And also, you give that energy off when you give that. Like, think about being around people when they're like that. Like, you're like, it's obvious that they're insecure. And so like they attract all of this stuff. Just whatever. Of course he likes me. Why wouldn't he be just totally, completely smitten around me? Of course he's clamoring to get every chance that he can to be around me. What's up? Yeah, hold on just a second. Let me just mute that. Okay, I'm back. It happens one of two ways. So it's either after you run into him again, like with other people, mutuals, they're like sort of going, be bold and manifest it. And more so that you understand that your state of mind is everything. So as you fall asleep at night, just imagine emailing me, like, or messaging here, coming onto a live and be like, oh my God, he texted me. Oh my God, he did this or that. Because it's not about, you're not manipulating anything. What you're doing is, if there is infinite. So if they say life, everything happens all at once, right? And every possibility exists. That means that there's infinite parallel universes. And every time you make a choice or a thought, it shifts you. So when the people are like, oh my God, I just quantum leaped and jumped, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't really work that way. It's not like jumping across a bridge. It's literally like it's a smooth transition from one to another. You wouldn't know it. So you might, but but that's another story. Um, but it's essentially a smooth transition. So it's just deciding, am I going to live in the lifetime where I'm constantly wondering if I'm enough for him, or if I'm just going to step into the fact and be like, I know that I'm enough. I know that he texts me. I'm not worried about it. Like, you'll start to see things shift, but you sort of have to decide and then not go, is it happening? Is it happening? Just be like, it's going to happen and I'm not worried about it. It'll happen exactly when it needs to. The things that manifest the quickest for me are the things I don't worry about. When I'm just like, oh, wouldn't that be cool if X, Y, and Z happened? And I just throw it away. Like within a day or two, it happens. But the more I'm like, is it going to happen? I don't know. Is it going to happen? It's like, yeah, every possibility exists. So I see it in one of two ways. Either it happens because you decide to manifest it, and it's not like you're texting him first. It's like he will reach out first, but it's a mindset thing, or it happens because you run into him. And again, part of that is also mindset, where you've done some of the energetic work. So instead of like being like, oh, I hope that he sees I'm good. Am I pretty enough? Did I wear my hair enough? Like, where you're just like, fuck it. I don't care. Yeah, of course he wants me. And like, you walk in with a totally shifted energy because you start talking to yourself differently. When you wake up, when you go to sleep, if you start to spiral and you start to get into that anxiety, but oh my God, but what if? And it's like, no, you have to step into your grown-up brain, because your subconscious spirally brain is like a toddler. You have to be like, no, it's fine. Remember, we talked about this. Everything's fine. It's okay. You don't have to worry, because you're perfect and wonderful just as you are. Of course, you're chosen. But I know that you're trying to take care of me, but we don't need to go there, because this is the new us. And the new us knows that we're good. Okay. All right. And I think we're done. So please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to my email list, go over to my website and subscribe to my email list. I only send out like an email a week. You're very welcome. Follow me on Twitter, on TikTok, not Twitter. Follow me on TikTok. I'm not really on Twitter at all anymore. Okay. Have a great day. Thanks for trusting me and all of that stuff and supporting me. See y'all next week.